Hello, my name is Alexander Kalina and you're watching my channel. On today's episode, we're attending Women's Leadership Development Seminar. So it's like a 3-event series. I missed the first one, so second one I got to cover. I asked for an opportunity to cover this and to kind of spread the message. This series is put up by Fighter Country Partnership. It's taking place here at the Wigwam. Really nice location, and it looks like they put a lot of thought into this. So I made myself a little media pass. I'm going to be their official, unofficial photographer, videographer, and let's dive into it. Check it out.
Hi, I am Nicole Lance, and I am a member of the Blue Blazers, which is part of the Fighter Country Partnership, Fighter Country Foundation organization. We support the active duty men, women, and families of Luke Air Force Base, and we are here today for the second installment of the Women's Leadership Development Series. And this was a concept that we came up with back in 2019 that sadly got interrupted in 2020. So we're here for kind of the reboot. We're really focusing on 25 amazing women leaders from Luke, and we're really interested in building up their leadership skills, building up their network, not just with each other, but also with men and women who are supporters, allies in the community, so that they can develop their leadership skills and really get that kind of career progression and career satisfaction that they want and that they deserve.
Talk to me about Bossy. When you describe somebody else, or have been described, or heard someone else described as bossy, generally what comes up? Demanding. Direct. Ooh. Emotional. Ooh. How dare you have feelings and show them.
Aggressive.
Somebody say smile more. Oh, smile. Crazy. Yeah. So crazy. Smile. Annoying. Whiny. Nagging. Heaven forbid we make sure people are doing their part. How about when it's unfairly applied?
Something like she's PMS.
She's PMS. It was literally the same one I was thinking. Must be the time of the month. So one of my favorite biases to talk about when I work with organizations is something called bro-procreation. It's like the working term for it. When a woman surfaces an idea in a group and then it gets like no traction, then one of the men in the group literally says the same thing. Yeah, we call that bro-procreation. So for your example, I got bro-procreated and I said, time out, Jim. That was actually my idea a few minutes ago. Oof. Why are you being so bitchy? Why are you being so bitchy? Right? Ownership. Amplification. What?
Why do you feel the need to take credit for everything?
Yes. Right? Which again, how often is that applied to male leaders? Very rarely, right? Alex, you're welcome for the free education this session. What about babes? Have you ever been called this or a version of this? Sweetheart, doll, sunshine. Sure hope you were smiling when you heard that one. Kiddo! Anybody ever asked, will you give us coffee? Will you take notes at the meeting?
Will you be in charge of all the gifts because I'm so bad that I never be so good at it?
Anybody ever been patted on the head?
Being short, some people feel like they can do that.
That we are biased naturally towards taller people, and so there is a microaggression that occurs with people of smaller stature, more space efficient people. But what you're talking about, the unwanted touching, when we watch for that in the workplace, that can be another form of microaggression, especially if it's only being done to certain groups. It's not being done to men, it's not being applied differently, and that is where when we look at what types of workplace environments we want, what kind of leadership do we want to have, what things are we willing to put up with, what do we need to navigate, those might be some of the things that are coming up. Okay. Career development building a network is what's important to you, then you will seek out a mentor. Then you will get involved in certain things. You will go seek other people. So sometimes it's just kind of capturing what some of those are and letting yourself get some of that clarity around them, no matter if they're huge or if they're small. But once you start to know where you're going, then you leverage what your opportunities are to help build that and make it possible. So that's kind of the point of the adventure list. Also gives you something to shoot for if there are opportunities that come up, because sometimes we have that kind of like, oh, do I want to say yes to one more thing right now? It's not the time, it's not the time. When it's on the list, then it's a little hard to say no to. You're more likely to actually get there. Now, one of the other strategies around this to help you stay on track, because sometimes we, come up with this goal, we say this is the things what I'm working towards, and then life intervenes, and jobs get crazy, and global pandemics happen, and whatever else goes on. So how do we kind of stay on track with that? So one of the strategies is called finding the feeling. Don't worry, we're not gonna start getting like deep emotional, we're not processing childhood issues or anything. So when I say find the feeling, don't be afraid of it. It's like lowercase f feeling. How do you want to feel while you are pursuing those goals? And then how do you want to feel once you've achieved them? Because this is the part that people miss. So while I'm achieving these goals, how do I want to feel? I also want to feel calm. I want to feel energized. I want to feel totally spent at the end of every day. I want to feel like I'm on top of the world. And the reason we ask these questions is because that's how you're going to start to know, A, if you're on track with actually getting there. So if you say, I want to, whatever. What did you say, tech sergeant? Is that what you said back there?
First sergeant.
First sergeant. Sorry, first sergeant. Civilian moment there. So I want to achieve first sergeant. How do you want to feel when you're in that role? And like think through how you actually want to feel so that you begin to behave that way while you're trying to get there. So if I say I want to become, one of the Forbes top 100 business leaders in the country, and I want to feel like accomplished and proud and, relaxed, confident in my success, right? Then I don't need to spend every day being stressed out, freaked out, high anxiety, like spinning my wheels all the time. So you start to kind of blend those two together. So once you figure that out, you name the feeling, and then this is part of the neural rewiring. So this is one of the things when I work with women leaders is that a lot of us have goals, but we've grown up with frameworks that aren't necessarily helpful, or we've developed those kind of over time, either intentionally or because of what we've been exposed to throughout kind of our formative years. So you name the feeling, and then you find what makes you feel that way now. What are those things? And what you want to do is we're actually going to play on confirmation bias. So confirmation bias is something our brains do. It's a heuristic to help us process information. So we start to look for things, we see repetitive patterns, we see more of it, we see more of it. What that does is it'll create a neural pathway for you. So if you think about getting up in leadership ranks or addressing conflict with somebody, and how you always think of conflict is, oh God, like I'm uncomfortable, I don't want to do that. Your brain is wiring a pathway every single time. So the neurons are touching each other, that's forming a synapse. We form over 1 million of them every second. Every single second. That's how much we are constantly reinforcing frameworks in our brain. It's also how much we have the opportunity to change it. So instead, if you say, when I'm addressing conflict, I want to feel like Wonder Woman. So I want the Wonder Woman feeling when I'm addressing. Or I want the DMX feeling. We'll use DMX instead. I want the DMX feeling when I'm, maybe you don't, I don't know, addressing conflict, right? That's how I want to feel. What makes you feel that way right now? What gives you the Wonder Woman feeling? What gives you the DMX feeling? What was it? So you find what makes you feel that way now, and then you intentionally generate more of it while you are thinking about the thing you're trying to achieve or you're trying to work on. So if I say I want the Wonder Woman feeling and I'm thinking about conflict, and the thing that gives me the Wonder Woman feeling is, I don't know, changing my own oil in my vehicle, or whatever, the extra 47 pump quad venti latte at your Dutch Bros. I don't know, whatever. whatever it is, it's gonna be different for everybody. Then do those things to generate that feeling, and then you're more likely to rewire that pathway for success. So if you say, I want to climb the ranks and I want to feel really proud and accomplished, but you go home at the end of every day and you're thinking like, oh, I haven't achieved anything, I'm not doing anything, then you're actually wiring your brain to have more of that type of thinking. Imposter syndrome, I mean, pretty much anything you listed on, even procrastination, some of those things, like you can use this same trick with that. How do I actually want to feel? What makes me feel that way right now? How can I intentionally generate a little bit of that and start to notice where it's at?
I also want to do a quick shout out to both Fighter Country Partnership and Fighter Country Foundation for their support of the program, along with base leadership. It wouldn't happen without those amazing partnerships. And I'd also be remiss if we didn't also thank my primary co-facilitator, Dina Steinberg. And Dina and I were the ones that have really put our heads together over the last couple years to pull this program together. And it's really been an honor to serve the community in this way.